ESPN 1059 The Zone, the Out of Bounds Show. Kyle Morris, owner of Live Oaks Golf Club. Also played some college football for the Florida Gators and MC, Mississippi College. He joins us on the Coors Light guest line. Live Oaks is open for the biz, and it is a beautiful day here in the state of Mississippi. Kyle, good morning. Welcome in, man.
Good morning, Bo. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Share with our listeners. Y'all are open, and if someone wants to play a round of golf today, they can, right?
Absolutely. I suggest they call. It's amazing. We were sitting here 2 weeks ago trying to plan, okay, well, what are we going to do when they shut us down, and how are we going to handle our employees, and, just all the nightmarish things. And when they I feel very fortunate because, Mark Powell at Dancing Rabbit, a friend of mine, and I'm friends with Randy Watkins that has his 3 courses golf group. We've communicated, and they've been very helpful in sharing information with me. And when we realized we were going to be able to remain open, it's been crazy. I mean, obviously people don't have very much to do with everything being closed. So our business has been good. We've taken the precautions that we think we need to take, and that is, one rider per golf cart, unless you live together. If you live together, and if you're a husband and wife,
sure,
and you're driving in the car together to come to the golf course, there's no reason to split you into 2 golf carts. But, we're leaving the flag sticks in and really sanitizing golf carts in between uses, and we've closed our clubhouse, so everybody's going out to our remote check-in area by our swimming pool, and we're still able to conduct business as usual. We just don't have the restaurant open, and we're taking our restaurant staff, and Bo, it's great because I know I've got a good staff, but we went to the restaurant and told them, said, look, we can lay you off, and y'all can draw unemployment, which the government is working hard to take care, because they knew what was coming. And every one of them said, we would rather work however many hours you've got for us, because we know what you're trying to do and we want to be part of it. And it made me feel good. So we've got our kitchen, all of our restaurant employees, they're pulling weeds, they're washing carts, they're sanitizing.
Hey, that's what it's all about.
It is. I feel really good about our staff and what we're doing, all the changes we're making. It was discouraging when all this started happening, because we've got all this coming on, and then all of a sudden this is happening, and you have worst case scenarios running through your mind. And we've been packed. So yes, we are open for business. We've got cold beer on ice, and just call. We're in a situation now that we haven't really been in, because there's some days we've had to turn people away because we are either full or running out of carts or whatever. So we've brought some extra golf carts in, and we're ready to go. We've got 300 acres of social distancing that you can come have a good time on.
Well, Kyle Morris, Live Oaks Golf Club. As Kyle said, you're going to need to call to make sure that you can get a tee time, but it's supposed to be pretty the next several days, and it's beautiful today. That's 601-982-1231, Live Oaks Golf Club, Highway 49 North. Kyle Morris joins us the owner of Live Oaks Golf Club. He joins us on the Coors Light guest line. You're listening to ESPN 1059 The Zone. Kyle, I'm not sure if you saw this, but I was excited when I read this yesterday. The PGA is set to announce a return to their season in June with the Charles Schwab Challenge June 11th, and I think that's without spectators, but still, it's going to be great on TV, and I think that's a great move by the leadership of the PGA. Your thoughts?
Well, that's certainly the one sport that can do what they do and still have the social distancing. So I do think it's a good opportunity, because it is. I heard you earlier. The young kids have so many more options than when we were growing up. basketball. And then if you were, if you didn't fit into those three sports, your parents would get you into tennis or golf. Well, then soccer came along, and that became a less expensive option. So golf kind of started losing itself as far as the younger golfer, in the mid-'90s, later '90s, and then when all the technology breaks loose and now we got gadgets. So golf has definitely had a problem drawing younger players, which obviously we think about because that's our future.
Sure.
We've talked about it before. Our membership is very old and we don't have a lot of young golfers. So it is a good opportunity. They can certainly do it. It's going to be a lot harder with other sports, but golf can do that. And I do think take advantage. I'm really surprised they haven't done something sooner from the standpoint. I know we got all the conversation about Tiger and Phil doing a match, but gosh, could you imagine the viewership if they did that, even if it's just Tiger and Phil and one cameraman on the golf course?
Sure.
Every person would be tuned in because they got nothing else to watch. You can only watch Netflix for so long before you go crazy.
Amen to that. I'm done.
So, but I do think it'll be good for golf, and I do think, this uncertainty is what's, I think, bothering everybody more than anything. I think everybody understands how important this is to get it under control, but the sports fans are going nuts, and they're like, just give me anything. So,
Kyle, do you have Kyle Morris, Live Oaks Golf Club? They're open. You'll want to go ahead and call and get a tee time in the next couple of days. They've been packed, which is great. People want to get out and do something, and this is a great social distancing sport. 601-982-1231. Kyle Morris with Live Oaks Golf Club, Highway 49 North. He joins us on the Coors Light guest line. You can watch the show on YouTube channel. Search Out of Bounds Sports. This is ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Kyle, do you have different rates for younger people and kids?
Well, we've got you can certainly, the younger kids, and that's under 16, can come out with their parents and play at a drastically discounted rate. But we've got our twilight rate where, that is all day on Tuesday and Thursday, after 1 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and after 2 o'clock on Sunday for $25, and that includes your card.
Wow.
And there's, that's just, there's nothing lower than that around here. We want to be the best value in Jackson. We do have some good membership rates. We've got an under 35 membership for $75 a month. Where if you're under 35, play as much as you want to for $75 a month. And we've got a few of those members. Look, we've seen it in the last 3 weeks. We've got a lot of new people coming out, and a lot of those younger people that haven't ever played golf. I mean, you can ride around the golf course and watch them and know they've never played golf.
Right.
But they're playing golf. And, it's one thing, I own a golf course and I've got a 16-year-old and 18-year-old that don't play golf. I try to get them out there, but it's one of those things you can do your entire life, that it's worth it to learn because it's going to be a social activity for you when you get older. And you can either be good at it, you can be bad at it, or you can be somewhere in between. But you're going to be bad if you don't ever go try. So, we encourage the younger and the young adults. Look, like I said before, they've got so many options now that keep them distracted. It's just hard to get them to pay attention for 4 hours to ride around a golf course.
Sure. Kyle Morris, Live Oaks Golf Club. They're open for the biz. Tee time, 601-982-1231. Okay, let's switch gears here, talk a little football. You played quarterback, and you go to Florida. You played under Coach Spurrier. You played at Mississippi College. This time of year, it's just all quarterback talk going into the NFL draft. As someone who played it, had a blast, also was coached by one of the best ever in the Fun and Gun and one of the best QB coaches in the history of the game. What's Kyle Morris's take as this position continues to evolve And now we have so many different styles, Kyle, that can be successful. And whereas guys were kind of put in a box for several decades at the position.
Definitely. I mean, I think what you've got is you've got a lot more athletic quarterback now than you had 20 and 30 years ago. And, you know, I was always, of course, I still believe the quarterback's the most important position on the field just for a lot of different reasons. But, you know, these teams that are – I used to say if you can get a quarterback, take him in the first round. He should be your guy. You know, if you got a good one, go find him. Over the years and watching football, I've kind of changed my tune a little bit. I mean, there's a reason – if anybody in Cincinnati thinks they're going to draft Joe Burrow and they're going to be a playoff team, they're sadly mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he is not good enough to make up for what they're lacking. No different in Miami. There's a reason those teams are drafting in the top 10. I think they've got pressure and they've got no choice but to draft those players. But, I think you've got to be able to identify a quarterback that is a can't-miss, absolutely 100% in order to spend that high draft pick. If not, I'm trading down. I'm finding offensive tackles. I'm finding cornerbacks because there's a lot of, there's a difference between good and great. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL.
Right.
But, I mean, Tennessee Titans – look at what they did last year, and do you think they've got a good quarterback?
No.
You know, you can find somebody to plug in. If you load your team up in the key positions, and that's up front on the offensive defensive line, and you have a good defense and you have a decent running back, you can plug a quarterback in and get in the postseason. And all you got to do is get in the postseason, and you got a chance. Now, are you going to get criticized for passing up that quarterback, that becomes Patrick Mahomes? Absolutely you are. But did anybody know Patrick Mahomes could play like that before he just broke out? No. Nobody's going to tell you they expected. Great athlete, great arm, can make all the throws, but you don't know. And he just got in the right situation at the right time. So I think Tua – I don't know how in the world you can take him that high with his history of injury. And I think it's difficult. You were talking earlier about Dak. And I think you see a lot of small school quarterbacks that have been successful in the NFL because they do have to do more. They do have to make the other players around them better. Tua's going to go to the NFL, and he's going to have less talent surrounding him than he did at Alabama.
True.
So is he going to be that great when he's not throwing to a receiver that's twice as good as the defensive back that's covering him? I don't know. I don't think, Tua would be my fourth or fifth quarterback that I picked. But we'll see. There's going to be a lot of pressure for them to take, the quarterback gets all the credit and all the blame, but everybody loves them until they screw up. And then if they don't draft them, they're going to get criticized.
Sure.
And the big problem is everybody's trying to keep their job, not necessarily make that decision that could make them great.
Right. Well, yeah, and there's no time to develop. You're right. In the NFL today, there's really not a lot of time to develop a roster, and like the 49ers did when you and I were growing up, and Parcells and heck, even Jimmy and Jerry with the Cowboys in the late 80s, early 90s.
Be a coach, draft Aaron Rodgers and leave him on the bench for 3 years.
Oh, no.
It's just not.
Steve Young, when you and I were growing up, sat on the bench behind Montana, Kyle.
Yeah, and I mean, it's even in college now. In college, I mean, whenever in 1987, whenever I signed at Florida, you redshirt,
mm-hmm.
And then you hope to play by your sophomore or junior year. You didn't play freshman, especially at quarterback position. Now it's like everyone that's coming out of high school, is expecting, and that school is expecting them to come in and be the starter.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's Kyle Morris on the Out of Bounds show, owner Live Oaks Golf Club. They are open And it's a beautiful weather, beautiful week. As Kyle mentioned, we've got other partners, Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, Mossy Oak, who do a great job too. And but they're open for the biz, Highway 49 North in Jackson, 601-982-1231. As Kyle said, they've been packed, so you need to go ahead and call and get a tee time. They also have cold beer and all that kind of stuff. Kyle and his team have done everything that they need to do to make it a safe experience for you and your family as you play some golf at Live Oaks Golf Club. Before Blake asked a question, Kyle, I've got one. When you were at Florida and Steve Spurrier took the job,
Yes.
when was your aha moment? When did you go, holy smokes? One, I've never seen this. Two, we're about to boat race people. And this is almost like a foreign language because of what he's doing on the offensive side of the football.
It was interesting for sure. You know, we had been and very good on defense. I mean, every year we were, top 5 defense in the country. We had Emmett in the backfield, so you turn and hand it to Emmett, and then you throw when it gets 3rd and long. So very conservative on offense. I had been starting as a freshman and sophomore, and I wasn't really good. I mean, I was a freshman, and I'm worried. My first thought is let's get the snap and get it to Emmett. Not let's read the defense and can we make an adjustment and take advantage. So then Spurrier comes in with just this different attitude, and it's when he walks in the room, it's this different attitude of. And don't get me wrong, Bo. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I've started for 2 years. This guy's coming in. Yeah, he's going to work around me. He's It didn't take long for me to figure out who was in charge. And I think that the difference in Spurrier then when he came in was it's day to day. You show up and he would tell you there's a reason there's a number 2. It's because if number 1 doesn't get the job done, number 2 is going in. I mean, it was not, hey, quarterback, if this is my starter, you play until you get injured. It is like if you don't
performance-based.
If you don't get it done, I'm sending the other guy in. And if he doesn't get it done, I'm going to send the next guy in. And if he doesn't get it done, we'll go back to 1 and we'll start over. But somebody's going to figure it out. And I learned, and it's nothing, in the mid-'80s when I'm playing high school football, we didn't have the quarterback knowledge being taught like some schools do now. Some of them are still in the Stone Ages, but some of them are teaching. So I went to Florida barely knowing how to read defenses, knew nothing about fronts and the running game and numbers and then Spurrier, I learned more. I was only with Spurrier for 6 or 7 months, but I learned more in 6 or 7 months about what defenses are doing, what they're trying to do, how we're going to attack them, how we make them do what we want them to do so we can take advantage of them. It was just he was so far ahead of the game and changed offenses, but I think he did more to change defenses than anything.
Great point.
And, when Spurrier and I don't know, Spurrier would figure it out now if he was still a young guy, but the defenses have become so good and so athletic and they've allowed their players, back then, and it's not, they knew it. The guys that could think, you put them on offense. The guys that reacted, you put them on defense, and you didn't let them think. So when you lined up in 3 deep coverage, they lined up the same way, and they backpedaled the same way. When they were in cover 2, they did the same thing. So it was easy to take advantage of them. They didn't disguise coverages. They didn't try to trick you. They were in the mindset of we're going to line up and we're going to beat you just straight up. Well, Spurrier took that away because if you line up straight up, he's just, 4 plays touchdown. If you decide to pressure, 1 or 2 plays touchdown. It just did so much to change and just such a brilliant and a lot of the reason he was so successful is because he didn't care what other people thought. He didn't care what had been done in the past. He said, "This is what I believe in. I know this will work. And if I coach my kids up, and especially my quarterback, where they take the field with confidence, knowing that we're fixing to light you up and make you enjoy it, that's what we're going to do." And it happened. And it's, so much of it is confidence and so much of it, but it's a lot easier to be confident when you know what you're doing and you know that the other side is sitting over there, oh crap, we know what they're going to do and there's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, that made it a lot of fun.
Kyle Morris on the Out of Bounds show talking Steve Spurrier, and he joins us on the Coors Light guest line, owner of Live Oaks Golf Club. They're open for the biz, and go out, play a round of golf, get outside. Beautiful weather this week. 601-982-1231 Live Oaks Golf Club. Blake, we got a couple of minutes. You've got a question
real
for
quick,
Kyle Morris?
Kyle. You mentioned talking about like how guys fit in systems and in the NFL specifically. We've seen where like Marcus Mariota didn't work in Tennessee, Vince Young didn't work in Tennessee, other quarterbacks with talent levels haven't worked in certain places. When you look at a guy like Jalen Hurts, who doesn't have the injury history of a Tua Tagovailoa, and he's coming out and he's not the runner that Lamar Jackson is or Vince Young was, but he's a running quarterback. What do you see for Jalen Hurts in the NFL in a system fit, and do you think he's got the potential to be an NFL starter?
I think he's the biggest thing he's got, Blake, is, and I go back to Russell Wilson. When Russell Wilson can transfer from NC State to Wisconsin, spend a summer in the weight room, and he's elected a captain, that tells me something. When Jalen Hurts can put the team first like he did. Now, he didn't like getting benched and having Tua come in and win a national championship, but it was team first. Then the next year, whenever he could have very easily transferred and been a superstar somewhere else, and he stayed. Sure, he was fighting for the position, but he gives you off the field and in the huddle everything you want a quarterback to be, which I think is huge. Is he limited in some ways on the field? Yeah, I think he's really good at several different things, but not great at any of them. Well, you can work around, but you got to put him with good talent. I think he'll be a good player for a long time. He might be a backup for a long time, but you never know. I mean, if a coach gets in there and develops the right system around him, he's got everything else that he needs.
I agree. Kyle Morris, Live Oaks Golf Club. Call right now and grab a tee time. 601-982-1231. Kyle, thank you, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Kyle Morris on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're rolling on YouTube. Blake, we'll do that again at 9:30. Our YouTube channel. Search Out of Bounds Sports. We would love for you to subscribe. And don't forget about the podcast on Apple Podcasts. Search the Out of Bounds show. The show is brought to you by Mosquito Joe. Make outside fun again. Jackson.mosquitojoe.com.